one of the things that people struggle with is this concept of like not paying off all their debt.
Yeah.
They're so spooked by debt, but they're not fired up enough about wealth.
Yeah.
And that's the mindset shift that people have to understand. I'm saying, yeah, you got to pay your debt. Come up with a debt payment plan, keep it consistent, put it on autopilot, but then all that excess cash, you got to get really busy investing because it takes time to compound it to create the momentum that wealth gives you.
Yeah.
Once you build up that momentum, your wealth grows exponentially.
Roger that. Welcome.
Yeah.
What up, D Hustle?
What's going on?
What's going on, player?
You know, beautiful Saturday.
Beautiful Saturday. Guess where we at?
Where?
We in Miami. Sunny Miami.
I like it.
Yeah. At Florida Memorial University.
I'm in my bathing suit already.
Yeah, you know. Big shout outs to the only HBCU here in South Florida. We are here at the Black Wealth Summit 2025, and we got a special guest today.
Who we got, man? Who we got?
Go ahead and introduce yourself, my guy.
What's up, y'all? I'm Cedric Nash, affectionately known as your Millionaire Mentor.
Oh, my Millionaire Mentor.
Millionaire. I like it.
I can't wait. So today we are definitely at an event here at Florida Memorial University celebrating Black wealth development, from talking about how, to develop wealth long-term, mortgage in terms of real estate. And I'm also they're talking about Bitcoin, crypto. And, we always talk about AI, so we're definitely trying to do that.
Yes,
so
sir.
Definitely tell us a little bit about your background, where you started off and how you got involved here.
Sounds good. I actually own a tech company called Oakland Consulting. We do about $100 million in software, enterprise application software consulting.
Shout out to that.
Yeah, up in the D.C. area. And, I started a Black Wealth Summit up in D.C. Ted came up to it about 2-3 years ago. He said, man, I want to do this down in South Florida. I said, hey, let's do it. He says, would you help me out? I said, of course.
Yeah.
So last year, he pulled it off, and I gave a little help. And then this year, same thing. So we're just expanding the word.
Yeah.
Making sure we keep the conversation going in our community.
For sure.
Right? Because if you can change the conversation, you can change the destination.
Facts. Give him that gem. Now, the thing is, you all, this is probably the first time y'all ever tune in. If you ever hear that sound, that means you need to rewind, listen up, because it's a gem that's being dropped. So D-Hustle's going to hold us down, right?
In case you haven't heard it again, let me give it to you one more time again.
Definitely. Yeah. So you're saying that you partner up with Ted to bring this Black Wealth Summit down here. This is the second year. And let me tell you, thank you so much, because we don't get enough of this from our community, right?
No, we don't.
Especially talking about wealth, talking about the gap, but also how we can develop in actionable things, for sure. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your company and all that.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I have a company, about 300 employees. I started it back in 1997. But through that company, I did a lot of investing. I invested in real estate, private equity. I obviously invested in the stock market. I actually wrote a couple of books. One book is titled "Why Should White Guys Have All the Wealth?" How you can become a millionaire starting from the bottom.
Drop that again. I got to hear this one. What's the title?
Why should white guys have all the wealth? How you can become a millionaire starting from the bottom.
That's what I'm
Fantastic.
talking about.
That book
like
is unapologetically targeted to the unique experiences and challenges and trauma within our community.
Yeah.
And I wrote a second book. I had so much to say because I've been wanting to write books for some time. And it's titled The Millionaire Money Moves Supplemental Investment Guide, which is really 4 chapters that talks about my investment strategies around stocks, entrepreneurship, real estate, and private equity.
Yeah. So I'm definitely getting the book, and y'all need to check it out. Check the links below. We're going to make sure we got all the links out there so people can click it and they can buy it.
Exactly.
But what would be one thing that they'll definitely take away from that last book that you wrote?
Oh, that last book. What happened was I had so much to say because I've been reading books about investing since college.
Yeah.
Had the privilege of mentorship by 4 millionaire mentors that poured into my mindset. So when I graduated from college with a degree in computer science, I was thinking about how am I going to turn, this $36,400 a year salary,
yeah, I know.
Into mimicking what my millionaire mentors did, who were rich in assets and poor in liabilities. So I created a roadmap and a game plan after reading lots of books. And so my book really is that roadmap, and it really teaches people how to build wealth starting as little as a paycheck.
Yeah.
And, it's a slow process, but it will definitely get you to destination millionaire and beyond.
Yeah, 100%. And I need a gym sound for this one. Can you remind me what you just said? You said something about assets and liability.
Yeah.
It landed with me. How did you describe them both?
Well, I said that they were rich in assets and they were poor in bad liabilities.
Oh my gosh. Now, if you are not listening to these concepts, you're going to learn the difference between liabilities and assets.
Yes.
And let me tell you, most of us, unfortunately, fall in that category where we're liability up, right?
Yeah.
But the mindset needs to shift to developing assets and making those assets get you those things that are considered liabilities so you can write them off and all kinds of stuff.
Exactly.
But man, that's definitely some great words of advice.
But I love that. And that's one of the things that hold our community back.
Yeah.
We feel like we've got to be debt-free before we start investing.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
spending all our time listening to Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman. And so while we're listening to Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman, the stock market's growing 300% from 2009 to 2022 or 2018.
Yeah.
So the whole point is you're paying debt when you should be basically paying offense
Yeah.
and building up your wealth.
Correct.
Because if you do it right, your wealth can do the job of paying off your debt and provide you lifelong income.
That's what's up.
So as a community, that's one of the things we do wrong. We focus too much on defense and not enough on offense.
Yeah.
And so all we do is end up basically, paying back the colonizers and never basically freeing ourselves financially. So that's the one shift we have to make. And it's interesting because I talk and I have a mentorship group called the Black Wealth Growth Challenge where I teach people how to build wealth. And I've got for a whole long year, we mentor. But one of the things that people struggle with is this concept of like not paying off all their debt.
Yeah.
It's like they're so spooked by debt, but they're not fired up enough about wealth.
Yeah.
And that's the mindset shift that people have to understand. I'm saying, you got to pay your debt. Come up with a debt payment plan. Keep it consistent. Put it on autopilot. But then all that excess cash, you got to get really busy investing because it takes time to compound it to create the momentum that wealth gives you.
Yeah.
Once you build up that momentum, your wealth grows exponentially.
Roger that. Now,
I hear you.
this is amazing, bro.
It
is our first guest, right? Well, I know that you are about to go on stage.
Yeah.
And if y'all didn't know, this show is Backstage with BobbyD. So we backstage, pulling all the guest speakers and definitely giving you all some insights. We will be here throughout the rest of the day. So if you have some more gems to drop, make sure you come back by.
Love to come talk. Today I'm fired up because I'm teaching a class on how to win investing in the stock market.
That's what's up.
So, like I said, that's another thing that we shy away from. But I have a methodology and approach that is guaranteed to get you to win.
That's what's up.
I got two questions for you before you leave here. So just for our audience here, do you come from wealth?
I don't. My dad was the son of a sharecropper. I was raised, my dad was born in 1932, right in the heart of the Depression, and raised on a farm. And he, got drafted in the military, went to college, got his associate's degree, worked as a parole officer. He was a, lower middle class guy.
Yeah.
My mom had an 8th grade education.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, you're getting the cue right now. So thank you so much for pulling up, and we'll see you on stage, my brother.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Thank you.